On today's program, first, hacking problem. Big corporations are threatened by the ever-rising security breach issues. Also today, we are going to be taking a closer look at the effects of the latest severe weather conditions in the UK and impact they have had on the local businesses. Potential risk and consequences, as well as recovery options, prosperity and company's future will be explored by our news correspondent Andrea who is examining both issues. Good afternoon, my name is Karolina. It's 10th of January 2013 and you are watching BBC Business News. Rumours of the legal activity and attempted breach of confidential information from inside of corporation have been confirmed by the well-known London-based investment company Matrix. The company have issued a statement in which it ensures that confidential client data has not been compromised. However, a series of codes have been cracked, which imposes questions of whether the system is strong enough to deter any future hacking. More on this story from outside the Matrix headquarters, our news correspondent Andrea.
Hi Carolina, thank you. We are outside the company's headquarters in London. Matrix is one of the UK leading investment organisations based in London, with the annual investment ranging from between 0.5 millions and 2 millions. It invests in exceptional entrepreneurs and companies that are capital efficient. The company handles personal financial data, which has to comply with the Data Protection Act 1998. The system was savaged by an internal employee that led to a breach of company conduct. The employee was caught on CCTV carrying out suspicious activities using remote assistant. There are a number of similar cases that have occurred over the years. New York Times fell victim to a hacking scandal in 2008 where hackers used a weakness of cross-site request forgery to detect email addresses of users. Similarly, the manufacturer Toyota became vulnerable to an ex-IT contractor who stole sensitive information from the company. Referring to Matrix, they were confronted by two major threats. An internal threat resided within employees having access to sensitive information, as well as the presence of the weak internal security procedures. The external threat presented opportunities to hackers. I'm now being joined by Miss Beata, spokesperson for the Matrix, who is going to give us an insight to the company's response and what has been done to rectify the problem and to ensure future technological safety. Hello, thank you for joining me.
Hello, good afternoon.
Could you please tell us about the response your team has come up with to rectify the issue?
Yes, of course. The immediate step we took was to limit access to valuable resources. Only authorized member of staff will have access to suppliers and merchandise information or handle personal data of clients, sign the authorization checks or access bank accounts. Only a small number of people will be able to access confidential information of clients such as credit card numbers as well.
What are your future steps in order to avoid a similar accident?
Password protection will take place, including resetting procedures every third week of the month or when staff members leave in the company, or if transferred to other department, resign from the position. This is due to possible threats such as theft, which could seriously damage company's reputation. Existing and potential clients could also lose confidence. We would like to avoid that kind of situation in the future. Therefore, as all sensitive information would always be stored on a secure server and password protected.
What potential steps would you take if theft had occurred?
Well, first of all, we've been lucky enough to avoid theft. This would lead to potential development of Swiss cheese model of system failure, where slices represent a defense against potential errors, whereas the holes are opportunities for failure. When applying the Swiss cheese model to hacking accident of Matrix, mentioned earlier steps representing the layers are considered, and in addition, the workforce ethical behavior, terminal access control like multi-layer password, remote access control included firewall system to block hackers, IT security auditors and cross-checks with financial audit. Antivirus policy and procedures will be considered as well. Board of Directors, after consulting with external IT company, decided to include such an option for recovery. In case of theft of the data, any clients, donors, or staff whose information may have been compromised will be informed immediately. According to James Burke, CEO of the Tylenol maker Johnson & Johnson, companies should be forthcoming and honest, act quickly and decisively, take responsibility even if don't have to, and treat people with respect as the good behavior pays dividend. If theft happened, it would require quick, focused action to minimize the impact. Police and insurance agents should be informed immediately, together with implementation of strict communication policy, informing company staff on all levels that all media inquiries should be directed to the designated spokesperson.
Thank you very much for joining me. Now back to the studio to Carolina.
2012 has been the wettest year in the past decade. The effects of torrential rain has caused flooding across the UK and impacted many SMEs as well as a number of large organisations. Andrea reports.
Thank you, Carolina. Yes, the latest weather has caused many disruptions across businesses. Alongside many organizations, Matrix has experienced power loss which was not envisaged. I'm in Somerset, in one of Matrix branches, which has been affected significantly. There have been a number of reported cases relating to floods in the past few years. Western Digital, the largest hard drive maker in the world, was hit severely due to the Thailand floods in 2011, where sales dropped significantly. In addition, the recent Hurricane Sandy caused substantial damages across the states, which impacted businesses, transport, and the stock market. There are a number of threats that directly affected Matrix operations. Firstly, the infrastructure that caused damages to the equipment, which further impacted the continuity of business operations. Secondly, there were no means to access data and potential profit losses for both the company and client. As you can see, the office space here has been considerably damaged. I'm now going to speak to Nisha Bharath, who is the manager here. Hi Nisha, thank you for joining me today.
It's a pleasure.
So what are your effective planning steps to tackle the flood affected areas?
First, we performed a risk assessment and business impact analysis in order to identify the services that support an organisation's critical business activities. Then we followed a disaster recovery strategy in the global standard for IT disaster recovery, which says that strategies should define the approaches to implement the required resilience so that the principle of incident prevention, detection, response, recovery and restorations are put in place. Strategies define what you plan to do when responding to an incident, while plans respond to how you do it. We will focus rather on plans on how to respond to disasters. Okay. The purpose of the Matrix plan is to provide information in the case of the loss or damage of the sensitive data and continue the core business processes in the alternative area. I will explain the role and responsibilities of people involved in recovery, tasks and procedures to assess the impact of the problem, decide if it's appropriate to activate, recover business processes and manage daily activities at the recovery site. We have decided on the way of distribution of the soft copy of the recovery plan to each member of staff. Plans have also been stored at the recovery site and locally.
Where would you store the information?
Well, the company plans to keep physical copies of the digitalised information and stored in an off-site location, which would make them accessible in the case of another natural disaster and for insurance purposes. Because of the loss of physical assets and damaged goods, the disaster recovery team would make a list of necessities such as office space and equipment. It will also include an up-to-date directory of contact information of all staff members, board members, accountants, insurance agents, banks, creditors and suppliers. This information would then be digitalised and duplicated with documents, titles, licenses and directories to a secure website.
Have you tested your contingency plan?
Yes, in order to prepare for computer failures or any loss of data, we have a technology team who conducts drills twice a year. The purpose of this is to test their ability to restore systems from backups and have different technology systems replacing it. Disaster recovery plans should include a list of potential recovery locations in case existing ones are not available. Staff members could work from home or the branch and could arrange temporary rental of office space, hotels or conference spaces far from the affected areas. This could help running limited operations whilst finding permanent solutions. A crisis team would examine factors including accessibility to clients, available space, cost and time required to arrange the location, and how long would it be used for.
What steps would you take to restore business operations immediately?
Okay, after the assessment of equipment and its accessibility, we will undertake the following steps. The first one is to relocate any undamaged equipment. Secondly, replace any damaged equipment that is necessary to continue with major operations. Thirdly, to develop and implement a communication plan to inform all necessary users of company services, including its staff, about the new location. Then, if the company services are not up and running in the next 24 hours, we will be contacting the media, communicating through phone tree and relevant websites. Call forwarding system will be arranged at recovery site. Temporarily, payroll will be maintained from the headquarters. Insurance will be informed due to the relocation. Critical documents, digital files, and contact details will be safely transferred and stored at a recovery location. In addition, because it is only one branch affected by the flood, Matrix will contact its local clients and ask if they still need the services. It could include additional services due to the disaster occurrence, which would require resumption of current services. Matrix would further determine if all key suppliers are still available. If not, we would find alternative suppliers for necessary materials. We have also thought about employees' transportation to new location and whether any of them require emergency housing.
Thank you for your time, Nisha. Now back to the studio to Carolina.
Thank you, Andrea. Well, this is all we have for you today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Have a lovely afternoon. Bye bye.